This is the moment Arsenal can no longer afford to be tentative. A trip to St James Park is no longer just another fixture. It is a referendum on intent. For weeks, supporters have watched the same script play out. Neat defensive shape, cautious first halves, the same substitutions left waiting on the bench while the game drifts away. The argument isn't about whether Mikel Arteta is clever. He is, but whether cleverness without courage becomes a vice at the business end of a title race. When a manager repeatedly sacrifices attacking impulse for perceived control, the crowd senses it, the players feel it, and momentum drains away. The silence inside a stadium that should be electric is the clearest symptom. 60,000 people know when a team is not being asked to win. So now the question is simple and brutal. Newcastle will sit deep and dare Arsenal to break them down. Eddie Howe will set a defensive puzzle because he knows that if you refuse to take risks, you hand the initiative to men happy to absorb pressure and counter. That forces a choice. Do you pick your strongest, most creative front line and chase a result, or do you cling to structure and hope a scoreless draw becomes a stepping stone? The danger of the safer route is cumulative. One cautious decision costs a half, another costs belief, and before you know it, you're 8 points adrift with a list of fixtures where teams will park the bus and dare you to try something different. Tactically, the solution isn't mystical. It's about trusting your attackers, using the bench to amplify, not replace, attacking intent, and recognizing that substitutions should be an offensive statement rather than a defensive patch. It also means reading the moment, when a crowd needs to be sparked, when a young winger full of confidence can change the geometry of a game, when bringing on a dynamic forward at halftime signals to opponents, you will not be quietened. Critics will say this demands bravery. They're right. Bravery looks like imperfections at times, but it also produces goals, momentum, and the kind of nights champions live for. Supporters crave evidence that the boss sees the bigger picture, that the season's identity will be forged by moments seized, not moments tolerated. If Arteta opts for caution again at St James Park, the narrative will harden. A pattern confirmed, a title dream slipping from reach. If he chooses differently, trusts his attack, and dares to unsettle Newcastle early, he will not only ignite his team, but also send a message across the league that Arsenal are here to win, not to be content with near misses. Whatever happens, the match will tell us which version of Arteta exists this season. The brilliant chess player who outmaneuvers in control, or the bold architect who understands that to lift a trophy, you must sometimes risk everything for the moments that matter most. Fans will be watching every selection, every substitution, and every attitude on the pitch. This is more than tactics, it's identity.